Meet me. Welcome back, boys, to another squirrely balance patch review. I always love these balance patches because they're the most important news on the website most of the time because they're really meta defining and they can really determine what heroes are good and what heroes are unusable. I have not seen these yet, although I know a little bit about it because of the guild Discord, but we're going to dive into it together and find out who the real winners and losers are. There probably aren't any losers. But before we dive into that, I'm really excited because I wanted to talk to you guys about Raid Shadow Legends. You guys all know this game. It just has so much content, champions, monsters, PvP, and more. But the absolute best thing about Raid Shadow Legends is that there's no law that says you have to play it, which is great because it's fucking terrible. Now, with that out of the way, let's go right into the balance patch. So, today we're going to talk about Dark Corvus, Briar Witch Iseria, Astromancer Elena, I mean, she desperately needed them, Sez Yufine, Celine, and Camilla. So what always happens is they pick two heroes that people are, kind of complaining about and want to be good. Then two random ones that are old and aren't really used, and then just a bunch of random heroes that no one was complaining about anyway. Was anyone really saying oh my god, I can't use my Sez in RTA? I mean, I guess it's fine that they're doing this, but sometimes it just baffles me. Whatever. I guess it's fine. I guess making dead heroes usable again is cool. This is Ken's artifact, Celestine. Was there really anything wrong with Celestine compared to other artifacts? I mean, it's not used very much, but whatever. And Andre's crossbow. I think this is that soul removing garbage. No one uses that. And system improvement. A successful attack always results in a critical hit. I don't really know what that means. Maybe that's just a wording change, because I guess these are the heroes that say that. Whatever. Okay, so Dark Corvus. S1. This is really good, actually. It just felt bad when Dark Corvus didn't provoke. Now it's a 100% chance to provoke so that he gets his stacks faster. And looks like on his S2, they made him immune to stun, which is actually really strong, because back then people had to run DC on Seed just to make sure he didn't get stunned and his S3 denied, or run ER on him. A lot of people used to run very high ER Dark Corvuses on Strack. Now that's largely unnecessary because I guess the only thing that's dangerous still now is Silence and Sleep. All the other debuffs, so I guess those still exist, but they're not that common. So I guess with the stun immunity, I mean, blind doesn't really matter because he does so much raw damage to soul when it kills anything, so this is a pretty big buff. The S3, the only change is that it takes less turns. I guess that's good too, at a long cooldown. Well, I didn't even realize that it extincted people. I think that was 2 buffs ago or something. It took too long for it to decrease, blah, blah, blah. Immune to stun. Yeah, so overall, good set of buffs. I mean, no one really used him in RTA anyway. I really don't think this will make him usable in RTA. I mean, maybe it will, but in Guild Wars, he was always really good. I mean, he's still pretty meta. Kind of boring to use him, though. With these buffs, it'll be even better. Briar Witch Iseria. So they basically gave her Reingars, I guess. Well, this is Reingars, but Reingars only works on AoE, so... But it's the same idea, Uberi is 2 Reingars, the attack doing extra damage. This is a huge buff, because 35% meant that stuff like Violet and Riolet could still theoretically dodge. 50% hit chance means evasion buff is essentially cancelled out, and then if you put something like Oath Key on her, that means even if they were on evasion plus MLDB, it's still a 100% chance to hit. And what is this? So it's not an extinction. Was it? It's just as long as she's alive, no one can revive. That's pretty interesting. That's actually really interesting. Because I think this can also work against a Ravi, right? Because a Ravi can't really... if you're running Cleave... One of the dangerous things was that, if you couldn't kill a Ravi, she would S3 and survive someone on the team, CR push, and your whole cleave gets annihilated. I don't know if you'd cleave with Briar Witch, but now even if Apoc Ravi can't kill Briar Witch because she'll go immortal, and if she kills anything else, that thing will die, but she won't be able to revive anything, which was the main issue with A Ravi, so it's very interesting. Okay, and S3, they added the successful attack, so the Reingars to it as well, and holy crap, wait, they added an AoE 75% defense. 75% is lower, like a lot of times they're like 85%, but I guess because the skill's so good, they kept it a little lower. I mean, I don't know if this is going to make her meta, but these are obviously huge. Like, literally everything about her is better, right? She hits more often, she blocks revive, she does more damage, and she death breaks. These might make her quite strong, actually. Time will tell, but, I mean, these are an absolutely enormous set of buffs. And holy crap, actually, they gave her a soul burn to ignore ER as well. That's actually pretty crazy. She might actually be quite strong, actually. Let's see what they did to Astromancer, Elena. I mean, this hero was borderline unusable because of that buff thing. Grant Star's Blessing. Did that exist before? I don't think so. It's a new buff. Okay, this makes a lot more sense, because the problem with her was the other team could counter until she put that thing up, which meant something had to go before her anyway, and she wasn't that fast. This is how she should have worked from the beginning. So now it looks like she has a buff that prevents counterattacks, and she starts to match with it. So if you're attacking, from the start, they can't counter, which is much, much better. After an ally except the caster attacks all enemies. So I think this is the same as before. No, never mind. Didn't she have something where if your team attacks with AoE? No, I guess not. Anyways, if an ally attacks with an AoE attack, it does the Worship Me thing that increases your combat readiness by 20%. And the Star's Blessing also increases attack and crit damage. Okay, whatever. And it can't be dispelled. Decreases, grants Star's Blessing to the caster for 2 turns. Oh, so it's not a permanent buff. You start with it, and then the S3 gives it to her for 2 turns. Okay, so it doesn't last forever, but still way better than it was before, right? Yeah, no doubt. And now it does unhealable instead of the unable to counterattack thing. When using this skill, increases hit chance by 35%. So they got rid of that apparently. Is it on the buff? No. So she lost her anti-evasion thing, but whatever, who cares? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if she'll be that strong, because again, her main gimmick is just that she prevents counterattacks. The reason she was so trash before was she couldn't even do that. But now she can 100% deny counterattacks. Is that alone enough to make a hero good? Maybe. I mean, arena offense, maybe definitely, because you don't have to die to RNG. Yeah. So basically, they made her do her job. The question remains if that job is enough to make her good on her own, but at least she could do her job now. Sez, no one really used him. People used to use him back then a lot, actually, like especially in regular arena. His S3, the way it worked with like Wind Rider, I think it was, if you killed someone, it just blew up their entire team. Ever since that got nerfed, like he never was used again. But okay, let's see. After attacking, when the enemy's health is 50% or less, activates Encroach. I think this was S2. He already did this. So I guess they moved it. They made it the S2 thing, the extra attack, do more damage. Looks the same so far. So I guess his S2 was Encroach. After being a tank, grant stealth for 1 turn. What? So he has like the Tsurin passive. And then he goes into stealth. The hell? Okay. And there's S3. Same thing, except it does extinction and it deals more damage. I'm trying to think, when would you want to use this hero though? It's like, almost seems like an anti, like you tickle him and then he goes into stealth and then he could hide there until he rips the S3 and blows up your team. But against a cleave team, cleave teams usually have so much AoE that it won't matter. He'll just die anyway. Can this be used in standard? Like, if he does so much damage with the S3, can you just survive and then as soon as you get a turn, just rip the S3 and blow people up? Kind of playing like a weird S10A style? I don't know. You guys will have to tell me on this one. Kind of torn on this. I don't know if... The buffs are huge. This is way better. Like, right now, basically what he does is nothing. The mere fact that we can at least even theory craft with him means he's way better. Will this be super pro, though? I don't know. It really depends on how much damage this thing does. I mean, it does have extinction now. And I do remember his S3 hitting really hard. Maybe. I mean, it's a big set of buffs. I don't know if he'll be usable still. Yufine. This is the S2, I think. It got rid of the speed buff and gave her defense buff. I think speed buff is better. Oh, it gets an extra turn, though? Okay, I actually don't know what her soul burn before was. What was it before? Oh, it was the same. Oh, but it was on the S1. Oh no, it was on the S. This is the S3. So I guess they made it make more sense because now she could attack buff before S3ing instead of S3ing and then giving herself attack buff. Okay, so this made the order make more sense. Ooh, wait. When you kill someone with this, it resets the cooldown so it's spammable. When this skill is available after an ally accepts the caster attacks, if the target is silenced... I don't really understand. It seems so specific. So, her S2 silences. She could give herself an extra turn. And then what? Like, they're saying if the target is silenced and someone else starts hitting them, it starts pushing Yufine up. Interesting. When target is silenced, penetrates target's defense by 70%. But wait, they got rid of the dispelling all buffs and stunning for one turn? She just seems like a DPS unit now. I mean, it looks like she'll do a ton of damage. She has 70% death pen to damage, and this already hit hard. It's just weird to me, though. In some ways, she seems worse. Like, you got rid of a stun, a full dispel. Damage dealt is increased by 50% when the enemy is buffed. They got rid of that and turned it into 70% death pen. I'm actually not sure which of those actually is more valuable. I feel like it'd be the 50% bonus damage, but could be wrong. I don't know. Again, I don't really know about it. This is weird. It's just weird. Like, they completely changed how she works. And was anyone complaining about Yufine anyway? I mean, it makes more sense that she could self-attack buff into this, but she's not a mage, so you still have to have Tagahells or something on your team to do this. So I don't know. It seems weird to me. It just seems like a very hard-hitting hero, and we have plenty of those. Still has like 0 survivability in her kit. I don't know if this is enough to make her usable. Why did Celine need buffs? Did I miss her? Was she on the list of heroes that are buffed? Yeah, she was. I guess I just missed it. What? Celine is usable from what I remember. Okay, well, that's a big buff. That means on fire units, she'll still hit them. Unaffected by elemental disadvantage. That includes the damage mitigation in RTA, right? If you have this, it means the damage isn't affected either. I'm trying to think. With Rimuru, when he hit fire units, because the S3 ignores elemental disadvantage, I feel like it still did less damage to fire units. I'm not sure. You guys can comment on that. The S3, so they got rid of the damage sharing ignore on the S2 and put it on the S3. Okay, and the soul burn damage is increased. So basically they made the S3 hit harder and the S2 ignore elemental disadvantage. Okay. I mean, I guess that's a buff overall. I don't really know if she needed it, but okay, whatever. Camilla, I actually like this here. I don't use her in anything except Ancient Inheritance, but in Ancient Inheritance, you guys should be using this hero. She's a beast. Okay, so it's just a straight massive buff. Before she did 50% CR push, now she just gets an extra turn right off the bat. So she's way better now. Are you going to see her in RTA because of this? I doubt it, but she's obviously a lot better. Samsara Prayer Beads is garbage. One attack, no single attack, 10% more damage. And then 16% damage mitigation from single attacks only, though. This is way better than this. Huge buff. I still don't think it's that great, though. If this was 16% damage reduction against everything, I think there's a very good case to make for using this. But if it only reduces single attacks, a lot of times that means the only thing you're really benefiting from this is this. I don't know if that's good enough to give up something like Sigurd's or Uberius. Like, I think in most cases, warriors would have better artifacts, but overall way better. At least you would think about using it, whereas before you wouldn't ever use this garbage artifact. Celestine. Oh, my guildies were talking about this. So it's basically the same thing on all the heroes I can think. Because, like, Celestine, I didn't really see very often to begin with. But when I did see it, it was, like, especially counter heroes. And most counter heroes, Soul Weavers, don't have AoES ones. I can't even think of one. So doesn't really change anything there. Like, the heroes I saw most on Destina, Ruel, and the rare DN. And all of them, their S1 is single attack. So really changes nothing. So in a way, unless it's an AoE attacking S1 Soul Weaver, and I can't think of any right now. Yeah, I literally can't think of any. It's mostly just a buff, because for the few Soul Weavers that have a single attack S3, it means that they could heal on multiple abilities, whereas before they could only heal on S1. So overall, it's a buff. I can't really think of who to what, though. Like, there's... God, what are the Soul Weavers that have, like, that new green one that came out, I guess? The one that, sets their skill cooldowns back with the S1 with the Venom or whatever. I guess that one, I think, had a single attack. Well, anyway, the point is, if you have more than one single attack move, it's a buff. If you don't, it's just the same. So overall, it's just a buff. This is still garbage, but basically they made Oath Key even more useless because it's just an Oath Key, except you get 20% free effectiveness, so fine. If you needed Oath Key, then I guess you would use this. Change to make more attacks. When the attack is successful, it inflicts a critical hit. Currently, I said I'll increase critical chance to 100%, which is a critical hit will be inflicted. Okay, this is good, because yeah, I've seen this before against, like, DNs of ML Ken, where you, like, do the S2 counter and it doesn't crit. So basically they're just saying if they have this wording, it will always crit. So, yeah, I mean, I thought it did that already, to be honest, because I feel like my Charlotte always crit against DN teams, but maybe I was wrong. But anyways, this is how it should have worked anyway, and this is fine. And I guess, what is all of this? Yeah, there's changing the wording on all these heroes. Okay, so let's go over the summary. This I don't think matters much for RTA, but big buff for Guild Wars. These two seem to have massive buff. Briar Witch is set, like, especially, just literally everything about her got better. I think she might be a big winner here. Astromancer, Elena, it's a huge buff. I still am not sure if it's enough to make her, like, meta or anything, because it's just an anti-counter hero, so it's a very niche hero, but at least she can do her job now, whereas before she was completely useless, because if you didn't apply that buff or got resisted or something, she couldn't even do her basic unique job. But now I think she can. And these two heroes, like this one, I feel like they just changed her completely into like a new single target DPS here along the lines of like Luna or something. But we'll see. And this one, I don't know. They gave him Tsurin's passive basically, so it's Tsurin with an S3 that hits really hard, right? And extinct stuff. Maybe that's good, actually. I mean, the main problem with Tsurin is, like, she's not really usable anymore because there's so much fixed damage stuff. But the main problem with Tsurin, she doesn't actually hit very hard. If Sez can hit really hard, it might actually be annoying. Like, you hit him, he goes into stealth, and then he rips the S3 into something. If his S3, because I haven't used Sez in so long, I don't know what his damage against non-death broken targets are. If he can reliably kill, like, you know, non-knight things with like 15k HP without much help, like just like an attack buff or something, maybe he will be pretty good. But anyways, I think the biggest winner, honestly, is Briar Witch Iseria, and I think none of these actually matters much. So anyways, did I miss anything? Do you guys think I'm on with my balance patch, or maybe I missed something huge? Let me know in the comments below. I always heart this stuff if you guys are right or I think you're right. And yeah, we'll all see what happens when the patch is implemented on the 22nd. So anyways, thanks for watching. Till next time, boys. Peace out.